Sophie Cunningham responded, "People only know Cathy because of Caitlin." This comment got put up on social media. Caitlin Clark should be grateful. She makes $16 million off of the WNBA. She's the most delusional leader our league has seen. And shouldn't, in caps, ever be about our commissioner in the first place.
Did the WNBA commissioner really say Caitlin Clark owes her sponsorship deals to the league? That one line set off a wildfire of backlash, with Sophie Cunningham blasting Cathy Engelbert and calling her the most delusional leader in league history.
This league was not listening to anybody related, a player of the Indiana Fever or the fan base of the Indiana Fever or a Caitlin Clark fan, anybody involving that entire bubble. Front office of the Indiana Fever, a coach of the Indiana Fever.
And just as things couldn't get hotter, Lexie Hull steps in, standing proudly behind Napheesa Collier's original critique. This isn't just player frustration, it feels like an outright revolt. But why did Engelbert's comment strike such a nerve? And what happens next if the players keep pushing this hard? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
This is what she said. Collier said, Cathy Engelbert told her, "You can have physicality without thuggery. Quote, only losers complain about the refs." She just called all you fans losers.
What if the league's own commissioner told the biggest rookie star that her multi-million-dollar deals were all thanks to the WNBA? That's exactly what players heard when Cathy Engelbert claimed Caitlin Clark should basically be grateful because her sponsorships and brand visibility supposedly existed because of the league. Now, from the outside, you can imagine how strange that sounded. Clark wasn't some prospect who came into the draft with zero recognition. By the time she stepped into the WNBA, she had already cashed in huge from NIL, built a reputation as appointment viewing television, and carried a social media following that rivaled established pros. She wasn't waiting for the league to make her valuable. The league was waiting for her. That's where the tension really started.
One of your top 3 players just openly, vividly cooked you. Your 2 high-profile coaches in the entire league cooked you. All these players that spoke out, losers. What are you doing now?
Because if Engelbert makes it seem like Caitlin should thank the league for being marketable, what does that say about all the work Clark did before even declaring for the draft? Think about it. This is a player who had millions of dollars in endorsement deals while still in college, when technically she hadn't even faced pro competition yet. She was already breaking TV records, already signing contracts with massive companies, and already balancing being both a college student and one of the most recognizable athletes in the country.
Collier said Engelbert told her that Caitlin Clark should be grateful. How many sponsorships, advertisers did she have behind her when she was still in Iowa for the WNBA because the league is responsible for her sponsorship deals?
To suddenly act like the league snapped its fingers and created this, fans and players saw that as beyond dismissive. It doesn't end there, though. Engelbert's comment landed in an era where NIL rules completely changed the game. Before NIL, college players had no real way to monetize their popularity. Once those rules flipped, it handed star athletes, especially ones like Caitlin, the power to test their market value years before going pro. And she showed she could pull in national sponsors, sell out massive arenas, and dominate highlight reels well before she even shook the commissioner's hand on draft night.
Caitlin Clark's brand was bigger than the WNBA brand when she entered it. Our play didn't unrivaled. It doesn't matter. She had a built-in massive brand, and the commissioner's in denial. Now, a lot of these other people involved here have been in denial too.
Branding isn't something she just discovered when joining the WNBA. It was already thriving. That's why so many people said it sounded like the league was trying to take ownership over an individual's marketability. And history shows this usually doesn't play well. In the NBA, someone like Michael Jordan turned his identity into something even larger than the league itself. LeBron James built a $1 million business empire around his name, his projects, his off-court ventures. Nobody dared to pretend that their brand only existed because of the NBA logo. Those players expanded the league's value, sure, but their personal brands were unstoppable with or without it. By echoing the opposite idea about Caitlyn, Engelbert risked looking completely out of touch with how athletes control their own platforms today. This brought out the critics faster than anyone could have imagined. Suddenly fans were asking, does the commissioner really not understand where athlete branding is in 2024? Does she really believe someone with hundreds of thousands of fans and sold-out arenas only found visibility because she's wearing a WNBA jersey? To insiders, this was less about Clark specifically and more about whether leadership even grasps the modern balance of power between stars and the league.
Yeah, unless people are like, you know what? I don't want to watch my superstar get the shit kicked out of her. F this, this is not basketball, I'm out. Napheesa Collier's bomb dropping, the pipe bomb she put off, the nuking of WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert.
If the league dismisses star autonomy this way, it sends a chilling message to other rising players watching closely. Then Sophie Cunningham came in and completely torched the moment. She didn't hold back at all. Her words were sharp, saying, "People only know Cathy because of Caitlyn. She's the most delusional leader our league has seen and shouldn't, in caps, ever be about our commissioner in the first place." That statement wasn't just frustration, it was a bombshell. Because when a current player, not a fan on social media, not a journalist, but an actual veteran of the league calls the commissioner delusional, you know the cracks inside the locker room are visible.
It's going to have to burst the bubble, come through, and say what everybody else has been saying. Here we are. It's going to be very interesting to see if the league and the commissioner decides to take action. I mean, maybe she relishes the role of being the villain. I don't know. Cathy Engelbert's trying to make herself a star in the league.
Cunningham basically said out loud what tons of fans were already tweeting. The league isn't strengthening its credibility here. It's damaging it by trying to piggyback off its rising stars. And that's what made her reaction stick. It crystallized this larger feeling among players and fans that Engelbert may not be building the league's future the way she thinks she is. Instead, she could be misunderstanding the modern athlete, the role of sponsors, the entire concept of star autonomy. Because if Clark doesn't feel respected for what she created before even setting foot in the league, how do other players trust the commissioner will support them when their own spotlight grows? That kind of sentiment doesn't just vanish after one news cycle. It can snowball fast. But here's where things really heated up. Sophie wasn't alone in going after Engelbert.
Lexie Hall on Napheesa Collier's statements. Quote, "I think I agree with everything she said." The physicality, quote-unquote physicality on the league. He just said it's ruining the basketball you're trying to watch. Cathy Engelbert determined, well, all this drama from all this fighting and all the fallout of these incidents is good for the league. We're at a really important time in the league and changes need to be made.
Lexie Hull stepped forward too, standing behind Napheesa Collier's original critique. Suddenly, this wasn't just one outspoken player. It was starting to look like a whole movement forming inside the locker rooms. This whole mess isn't just about one comment anymore. It's about whether the league actually respects the fact that its stars come in with their own value, their own audiences, and sometimes even bigger platforms than the league itself. That's the real battle here. So what do you think? Can Cathy Engelbert survive this kind of pushback, or does the WNBA need someone new who understands today's player-driven era? Because the fight ahead won't just happen on the court. It's going to come down to who gets to control the future of women's basketball, the league, or the players themselves.